I'm Dave Mercer.
And I am Matt Pangrac.
And welcome to The Cull, a weekly sport fishing debate show where we debate hot topics in the sport of fishing, or just topics that we think of. And this one has rattled me for a while, Panger. I'm saying it. I got to say it once and for all. Back reeling should be dead. Keep our cull.
Explain back reel.
When you have a fish on a spinning reel and you back reel rather than use your drag. And my whole point around it is I get why back reeling was a thing, because reels were not a thing. It wasn't the technology we deal with today.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, like, in the 60s, you had to back reel. I get it. That was a genius idea in the 70s, whatever. But for the last 10, 20 years, spinning reels have been so smooth and just increasingly get smoother and smoother and smoother. And then you have this weird group of tournament anglers that believe you should back reel. They spend $500 to $800 on a reel, and then they start back reeling with it. And there is no way on earth that doing this, or even the pulling of the line, drives me crazy too. Your reels have drags. Use the drag. And I think that the back reel was a good thing at one time, but there's a lot of things that used to be good and aren't needed anymore. And the back reel is one, if you ask me.
Listen, this topic, shockingly, is very near and dear to my heart, because I consider myself a spinning reel aficionado. And I, up until recently, was an ardent back reeler. I back reeled up until probably 3 years ago. I look at it as the same way as the guys who use a bait caster, a $500 to $800, $200 to $500 bait caster, depending. And they still push the button and use their thumb for tension when the fish gets close to the boat. I think it's whatever you are comfortable with. And I think that if you grew up back reeling and you've been fighting them for 20, 30, 40 years on the same stuff, you started out with a Mitchell back in the 60s and you're still back reeling. I don't see the disadvantage of that, because you have figured out a system that works for you. Now, some of the new spinning reels, they don't even have an anti-reverse feature on them that have come out. They're not. A year ago, Dave.
Did you just almost call me Mark?
Yes.
I take that as a huge compliment anyway. So which means I must yell at you louder.
Yes.
Sorry.
A year ago, Dave, I would have 100% been against it. I would have said back reeling has a place. It is an art form. It is a way to maintain the same amount of tension on it. But after having experienced several different models and brands of spinning reels up north in your neck of the woods with large smallmouth and heavy current situations, I now see the advantage of a quality drag system asserting the same amount of pressure on a fish. And I have to cull it with you. I have to say there is no need in the game now for back reeling. And I know there's a lot of guys that are going to say, but there really isn't. It is a situation where technology has caught up with and surpassed the way it used to be done when it came to fighting big fish on spinning reels.
I mean, my neighbor, guy down the road, loves to take pictures with film. Nobody's stopping him. Nobody's stopping you from back reeling. If you love back reeling, that's cool. I just think it's just not something that should pass on to the future, because we don't need it anymore.
You're
just
right, there are a bunch of guys who still do that.
Yeah.
And the
crazy.
Ike and Ellie.
Or the grabbing of the line at the side of the boat. And that I almost give a pass on, because I get it. You're in that moment. They know they shouldn't grab the line, but they do. And I'm a tournament MC, so I am not throwing shade on anybody that does that. They are winning said tournament while I'm announcing them. But I just think that at least is an emotional thing where you're like, real quick, you want that fish in the boat. Mm-hmm. But the back reeling, the pulling of the line.
It's a technology thing. Those things are designed to be smooth, to start like butter, to end like butter. And as long as it is properly set. Now, I fiddle with the drag system a lot.
Yeah.
Do you? Start it out tight and then back it down.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so, because literally one little click and there's no way with your hands you can do that. You know what I mean? It's allowing the fish to control the drag, which is exactly what you want.
Especially with no nets.
Yeah, that's a
You're
whole.
asking for a bird's nest if you're back reeling with no nets.
I think they should take those buttons off all the reels because they just cause troubles for me. At some point, I hit it and drive down the highway and get to the lake and find out all my line.
And I didn't realize how passionate I was about this.
Wow, you can get passionate about a lot of things.
You're right, Dave. We're culling this.
Cull it. We're culling the back reel. Let
Never
us know
again.
if you agree. Never again. Don't ever
Leave
do
it in the 80s.
Leave it
and
back,
90s.
back there. No back reeling. Let us know what you think.